In my last video, I talked about a 6-phase strategy to improve your shutdown and turnarounds. And now I'm going to introduce you to risk-based work selection, phase 2 of the 6 phases. Let's talk about risk-based work selection. So this is something we do in the second phase here when we go through the work list. And I said the problem here many times is that the work list grows over time and gets out of control, and that's going to impact the budget. And then, of course, then maybe that also impacts if we're going to be on time. So the idea is to do the required or right work, as we call it in IDCON. It starts with a risk assessment, and we define risk as a situation involving exposure to danger, or could also be from the business standpoint, of course, there, not just the physical one. And I think the risk matrix will be different for different industries. We have some examples. I'm not going to show those here, but in different processes and all different regulatory requirements. But what it does is a formalized risk assessment will shift that gut feel to analysis and will make the process more objective. So let's talk about some examples here of risk-based work selection. And there's some questions, simple questions you can actually ask to see if you actually need to do this job in the shutdown. Here's an example work order number 1. This is in a 600 megawatt combined cycle power plant, and this is the steam turbine side. So in this case, the work order said feed water pump number 4, high vibration reading on drive end bearing, high priority. So let's ask some questions here. What's the risk assessment of not doing the work? And we said it was not acceptable based on the RR matrix. And we do have history on that, and we know that if we don't take care of this, we're going to have downtime. Can it be deferred to the next shutdown? No. Can the work be done economically and safely outside the outage? And we say yes, execute the work outside the outage. And why is that? Because we have a redundancy or spare pump in place that you can start up right away if one pump actually is not working. So we also have an approved shop in place in the region with a 2 weeks turnaround of this really big feed water pump. So, can the work scope be reduced? We cannot reduce the scope. We need to change this bearing and overhaul this pump. Work item remains in the outage scope? No, because we actually decided to do this outside the shutdown scope. When you have a redundancy, that's why you have redundancy, so you can actually work on the pump and not shut down the unit. Next example, so this is work order number 2 from the same feed water system. Again, this is the 600 megawatt combined cycle power plant on the steam turbine side. So the work order reads feed water pump recirculation valve pulsating, vibrating, and making loud noise. So it's a high priority. There's something wrong there. So let's ask the risk-based work selection questions again. Risk assessment of not doing the work. It's not acceptable. In this case, we don't have any history of this valve breaking or before this happened. Can it be deferred to next shutdown? No, we really think this is too high of a risk. Can work be done economically and safely outside the outage? No. So the recirculation valve is connected to both feed water pump in the circuit and cannot be isolated. So a unit must be shut down to work on this control valve. We also think there might be a problem with the check valve. Can the work scope be reduced? No. Work item remains in the outage scope? Yes. So we have to complete this one in the shutdown. Thank you very much.